During a high school class project, my teacher told me it's unrealistic being a CEO. It's been my dream to be a CEO since I was 10. So I told her, it is realistic. Follow me on my journey to learn what it takes to become a CEO. Welcome to another episode of the Realistic CEO podcast. Today I'm here with Nicole Nell. How are you doing today, Nicole?
I am great. This is a great way to kick off the afternoon, so thank you so much for having me.
I want to thank you for taking the time out of your day to come on, so I appreciate that so much. Thank you.
Absolutely.
So I just want to say this is a nice space.
I know you didn't get the tour yet. You guys didn't get the full tour yet, so I'm excited to show you.
Yeah, this space right here is like definitely in the future. I can see myself having like my own podcast space, and it's really similar to this. So it's just really nice in here as well. So I just think this is a really great setup.
Thank you so much. And this is the first podcast ever in the VSP headquarters. So you're going to go down to history for that.
It's a really nice space. So how could somebody rent this space out if they really wanted to get into podcasting?
Yeah, so they can go on our website, visualsoundprod.com, and on there we have many different rooms to choose from. We have different photography studios, videography studios, recording studios, and we have the podcast studio as well.
Thank you. But for the first question I want to say is, what do you do here at your company?
Gosh, that's a long list. I'm the president of the company, Visual Sound Productions, and the actual company is divided into 4 divisions. Just because we do so much and I have so many leaders in the division that I started to separate it. We had different services that we were offering and different clients that we were trying to attract. So we currently have 4 different divisions. So we have VSP Weddings, VSP Multimedia, VSP AV, which is the audiovisual side, and then we have VSP Talent. So I oversee all 4 of those divisions, and I also run the VSP Wedding division. I'm the director of that as well.
So you have 4 different divisions. Did you start off with 4?
Nope. Started off as one little DJ. That's it.
So can we go a little bit into your backstory to how you got to where you are today?
Sure. We can go back. So I started DJing unbeknownst to me actually knowing I was DJing. At the time in my past career, I was a professional dance choreographer and performer as well. And my students loved the music that I would play in class. And randomly, they would ask, hey, can you play some music at our birthday parties or our fundraisers that we had when we would go to different competitions? And I was like, I'm not a DJ, but I'll play music for you guys. I would do anything for my students. I still will to this day. So I started playing music for everybody. And then they made me a DJ without me wanting to be a DJ. So it just very much organically happened without even me knowing what I was setting myself up for.
Did you ever see this career, the career that you're in right now, was that ever in your path, or was okay, I really enjoy doing this dance stuff, I'm going to stick with dance? You're like, oh, whoa, my kids love that I love my music, I might go to DJ then. How did you get into where you are today?
God did that. So when I was at the height of my career, I ended up getting very ill, very sick, which made me unable to dance anymore. So I knew that I needed to switch careers. And I didn't know what I wanted to do, but I couldn't see myself I'm not a 9-to-5 person, not my vibe. So I'm like, what can I do? And, it's the love for music and the interaction with people. And I'm like, you know what, maybe I can really make something of this DJ thing. So I went out on a limb and I bought some DJ equipment. And while I was in recovery, I was teaching myself how to DJ. And then when I got better enough where I could start getting out of the house and get out of the hospital, that I started to book some events, and then it just rippled into there. And then once I realized that there was a niche that I was going for, I wasn't like your typical DJ. I had a very club style. I was very artistic with how I DJ'd rather than just stop and play. And I think it was like my creative side of interpreting music through dance. Like when I would hear music, I would feel like I would transform it into movement, and now I can actually manipulate the songs and transform it in a different way. So I was able to really make a mark for myself. And then from there, I'm like, listen, if I go all in on something, I'm going all in. And I went all in, and now we're here. You just keep going and going.
So when you first got into DJing, did you realize, were you have a natural ability to make the people enjoy the music, or was it more of like you said, you had that dancer background, so you understand the rhythm and how people dance, how people get engaged with music?
Yeah, honestly, I think that's like my upper hand. That's my back end. It makes sense, and you also have to understand music structure too. Like when you're a DJ, you need to understand how there's verses and choruses and bridges, and you have to be able to move music in and out. And you also have to understand the music too, because some songs where the chorus is the most high energy, that's the only part that people want to listen to, and then it dulls down the energy if a verse comes on that nobody really knows. There's some songs that nobody listens till the end, like nobody knows the third verse, so it's like, how do you keep people's energy going? So it's about understanding the music and also just reading the vibe. Being on stage and performing in front of hundreds and thousands of people, not only in the country but around the world, I was so used to being in the spotlight that it didn't really scare me to get on the mic and tell everybody to put their hands up or something like that. It was a very natural transition, honestly.
So for somebody that wants to get into DJing, what is some advice that you would give to them?
YouTube University, man. I'm telling you, I wish that YouTube was around when I started DJing, because I was literally reading the manuals trying to figure this out. There are so many resources online, and actually one of our, he has a school for people who are starting how to DJ, and he does a phenomenal job breaking everything down and showing you not only the basic techniques, but understanding music theory. So he is somebody that I would definitely recommend checking out if you're really looking for a program in particular.
So how could they sign up for this school?
Yep. So I believe they rebranded it and it's called Dangerous DJs now. So dangerousdjs.com. And he also does weekly classes as well where you can interact with him and you can show him different things you're working on and he'll give you feedback and everything. So it's a really great mentoring part. And we plan on hosting workshops and seminars now that we have the building, now that it's done, for people who are interested in that part of the career and also in all the other divisions that we have as well.
Definitely check it out if you want to become a DJ. Definitely.
Yeah, and he's dope too. He is like really good. He's one of my favorite DJs, and he was actually my mentor once we got connected. So for the longest time, I was like riding solo, and then when him and I connected, I was like, oh wow, you're awesome. And he just opened up his mind, his energy, his time to me, and I'm forever grateful for him for that.
So how did you go from being a DJ into owning your own like production type studio type vibes?
Yeah, just don't say no. That's pretty much my whole thing. When people come up and when they ask for something that I may not have, in my head, I'm like, okay, is this something that I can see myself doing? Is this something that I could rent out and then white label it and see where this goes? Or is this something I should invest in and start like expanding and start offering it? And it seemed to come to the point where I could see myself being able to make the investment and get my return on it. So I just started buying equipment. My parents still resent me for that at the time when I was putting everything in their basement. But pretty much when people would come and as a business owner, you solve people's problems. Pretty much that's what it is. So a lot of people had problems, so I was able to be that problem solver. And if I wasn't, I started hiring people who were.
So you said you like the 9 to 5 wasn't really your thing. So when you were doing like the dance, did you have your own dance studio?
So my cousin owns Dazzle Studio of Dance. Shout out to Lisa Atanasio. She's amazing. And yeah, I've never had a real job. I've never had a real 9 to 5. I've always been my own boss in that sense. So she is the owner of the dance studio. It's a family-owned business, but it was one of those things where we got to have our own classes and she would help us make our own schedule nonetheless, but it was very freelancey. And I would actually not just work there, but I would work at other dance studios in New England as well.
So for those people out there that, like you said, aren't the 9 to 5 isn't for them, what is some advice for them to start a successful business like yourself?
I think it's about figuring out, okay, what do I want to do and how do I need, like what resources do I need to start it? And again, are you solving a problem? Because really those are like the main things that you need. And also you have to realistically invest in it. Are you at a good time to invest, or do you need other investors to help you? Do you need to search other resources? The biggest thing is just finding resources and even doing your own market research as well. Figuring out, are the people in the area doing this and doing that? There's so many things to think about, but all it takes is an idea. And then it evolves from there. What you might have started out with in the beginning might not be what you ended up with, because clearly this is not what I planned on it, but here we are. But you just got to go with the flow.
So like when you first started this, you said you only had one division. So how did you end up expanding to having 4?
Yeah, I was mostly doing weddings and it was just me as a solo DJ. And then I felt like we could enhance their experience even more. So I started adding lighting and then I started adding photo booth rentals. And then it wasn't until I met up with a friend randomly at an event that I was DJing and she's, hey, I'm a videographer, right? We should start offering that. And I didn't really pay much mind to it because I'm like, okay, she's had a few drinks. She might not be fully 100% with this, but she followed up with me and we started doing that. And when we would add on new services, because like your new skin in the game, we would offer our services either for free or for like super cheap just to get the content, to figure out what works for us, how long it takes us to do certain things. So then we start to develop a business model, what made the most sense to charge and whatnot. And then we started growing from there, really. And then so pretty much we were known for weddings. That's what it was. And in 2017, I rebranded the company. Originally, the OGs know this, the original company was called Infinite Entertainment. But to me, that was just really only DJ focused. And I knew, once I got into everything, I knew that I wanted to eventually combine my dance world and my DJ world. So it's okay, how can I do that? And I started to realize that I can do it with production. And there's ways that I can bring a level of entertainment to dance competitions and dance recitals. So that's how I started into the AV part of it. So we really left a mark on the dance competition world, and now we travel with different dance competitions and we do all the sound, the lighting, the video, and the pictures for them as well.
So you started from a DJ, rebranded because you realized that your business is more than just DJing. So for those people that are starting on with it, like for myself, I've been expanding. It's like I've been learning from you on like how you just were able to pivot, but still keep your core. Like you still are a part of like your DJ and all that hasn't gone away, but you're still using that, but a way to expand and grow your business. So how were you able to pivot from just a DJ into what you are today?
Yep. So it goes based off of what worked for me is that I was able to utilize my same equipment and my same staff for that. So it made sense for me. It wasn't actually that much of an additional investment because I'm already doing the sound and lighting for weddings. Why not? Obviously, we now have larger equipment for the larger events that we do, but it made sense at the time. So it didn't really take much more for me. And I was grateful enough that I already had the connections in the dance industry. And with my cousin owning a dance studio and me being so well known in the dance industry, I already had the clients as well. So everything was already laid out. There was not much for me to do, but just to create that concept and to make that happen. And I guess if somebody is looking to expand, you just have to look at, it's almost like starting a whole nother company. And it's one of those things where it's like, you don't want people now to forget about what you do with the wedding side, but now you do AV too. But with the entertainment world, it is all under one umbrella. So it does make sense, but we do have different clientele. So that's why I started to, now that we have such strong clients in each division, I separated everything in that sense. And I will eventually make them 4 separate companies.
So how were you able to build your clientele?
Literally word of mouth. It's the most invaluable thing. If you go into some place and you do a killer job, you never know who's going to be in that room. Those are going to be your future clients. If somebody who's there had a good time and is talking about it to a friend and they might need something that you offer. I have never spent $1 on marketing ever. And I've been in business for 14 years. So literally just do a good job, and it's all about integrity and quality.
So
yeah,
you're bragging about how you're in killing the dance competitions with your production, all that stuff. So how does it feel to know that you left the dance industry, but you didn't really leave it? You just brought back a whole different element. So how does that make you feel?
Oh, amazing. Honestly, like I always thought I was the happiest when I was DJing weddings, because honestly, there's no better feeling. Like when you're dropping a song and like everybody goes wild, that energy, you can't explain that. But there's just a piece of my soul that is in dance. And to be able to make these amazing productions and to bring a whole nother level of production, it's not just for me, but it's for the kids. When they're going on stage, now they're having professional lighting. We do custom color mixing. So when you go on stage with the red costume, I change all the lights red. So it gives a whole nother level of production, and it inspires them to take it to that next level. If they want to go the professional route, they already had that experience of being involved in the production. And it takes a lot of courage for kids to go on stage, to memorize the dance, all the training, and to do it in front of everybody, and to be judged at the end for it. So I think dance is like one of the most amazing sports that you can put your kid into. So I just love that. It just completes my whole soul. It really does.
So how did you end up falling in love with dance?
Listen, when you have a family who owns a dance studio, everybody at one point was a dancer. You don't really have a choice. Listen, your family owns this. You're going to go in there whether you like it or not. Keep you off the streets, right?
Yeah.
But yeah, I just connected. It's really the music, universal language. And my cousin is probably one of my biggest inspirations. So I love her very much. I would not be here if it wasn't for her.
So for a quick question, you said that you end up wanting to have your 4 divisions into 4 different companies. So what would that look like?
Yeah, so I don't know yet. Honestly, they're growing so large, and even though we just got this building, I feel like we've already outgrown it. Oh my God. But I think it would make the most sense if right now we divided them. They all have 4 different Instagrams because we have 4 different types of clients we're looking for. And we have 4 different types of services that we're offering. And I don't want somebody to look at our company and be like, oh, they're a jack of all trades, master.
Yeah.
Because I do have everybody who's leading their division, and they have the people underneath them. That's their specialty. So I think we divided it into the 4 Instagrams. I think what we'll end up doing is we'll end up doing the 4 Facebooks, and then eventually the 4 websites. And then we'll see what happens from there. I don't know, but I think in the end it's going to make the most sense. It'll still be the VSP umbrella, but I think we need to make sure they're going off in different directions. Yeah.
So you said you rebranded in 2017.
Yes.
How did you come up with the name?
Actually, it took myself and my grandma Alice, God bless her soul, years to come up with the name. We went through every thesaurus and dictionary, and we were trying to come up with the name that like nobody had. And it's so hard nowadays because, man, everybody came up with some name at one point and what made the most sense and what's marketable, but also what embodies what I'm trying to go into. So I wanted it to be visual sound, because my whole thing was like, okay, like it was like sound you can see and light you can hear, because it's like interpreting the music. And that's really what it came down to. But yeah, and then that was taken. So we added on the productions because I knew I wanted to be a production company. And then I became an S Corp in 2022. So I had to add on the ink at the end. But yeah, that was pretty much it. But it took me I was sitting on that name for a long time. And now, it's actually a really long name. So now everybody just says VSP.
Yeah.
That's what everybody knows it as. But what really is unfortunate is that my grandmother never got to see that part of it. But I know she's seeing it up there. But I really wanted to show her this. Listen, I finally decided that's the name we're going to go with. But yeah, big shout out to her.
So far, what has been like your biggest challenge that you had owning your own business?
Staffing, 100%. It's very hard when you love something so much to be able to delegate to other people, because in the end, nobody's going to love your business the way you do. And it's hard to find people that care as much as you do and want to put in as much work and time and effort. So that has been my biggest hurdle, hands down, is staffing and hiring the right people.
So let's talk about that. So when you're going and finding people to hire, what are some things that you're looking for, whether are they qualified or just their personality as well?
Hands down, if you're a genuine person. Like, I need the authenticity. That is so important to me. I can't do the fake stuff. You know what I mean? Like, I just need you to be here for the real reasons, for the right reasons. And even if they are not technically as strong as I would like to be versus other candidates, if I feel like you're a really good person and you're in it for the right reason, I will always choose good people with integrity over people with technical skills any day. Because I can teach somebody how to work a mixer. Can't teach somebody how to be a good person.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So you talked about staff and how you have people, like you want to branch out and turn into 4 different companies because you have teams in every division you have. So how does that run to look like, having 4 different divisions with whole leaders in each division?
Yeah, so pretty much how we have it structured now is we have a director for each division. So they're running everything. It's pretty much like they're running their own company under the umbrella. They take care of all of their sales, their expenses, things like that. Even when we do our end of the year numbers, we look, okay, what's our largest division? What do we need to hire in? What do we do the most expenses in? So we're already trying on the back end, looking at them as 4 separate divisions and companies, I guess you can say. And then from there, the directors, they have their staff that works underneath them. And right now we just hired a sales and marketing manager who is working alongside me, working with all of the divisions as well. So she's my right hand with overseeing everything. So we're just now starting to get into like the marketing part of it because there's other things that we can do and offer people. So I'm excited about that.
So when you first rebranded, let's talk about that. When you first rebranded, was this your vision? Did you see this coming into tuition?
Yes. And it would have happened sooner if the pandemic didn't happen. That completely destroyed our whole industry. So we were at the top of our game. We would have had this building years ago, but things happen, but it ain't going to stop me. I can tell you that. But you know what? If it wasn't for the pandemic, we would have never had our multimedia division because that was not something that I even thought of, that I even wanted. I wanted weddings and production and talent, but it wasn't until the multimedia because we had no choice. We had to pivot. And it was one of those things where we had all this equipment for events, but there was no event. So how can we make use of it? So at the time, we teamed up with a lot of realtors and other businesses. Because at the time, realtors couldn't even do walkthroughs. We started doing all of the videos and pictures for their listings. And then we started working with other businesses to let people know how they were taking precautions, that they were still open, or that everybody was marketing online. Everybody was on social media, go outside. So we ended up pivoting in that way. And then when things opened back up, I'm like, oh my God, we got all these events. And now we have these new clients. So 2022, I don't think any of us have ever worked as hard as we did because we had to postpone like 200 weddings. And I don't even know how many other events or projects that we had, but I know weddings personally because it affected me. Yeah, so it was wild on top of everything else. So we literally didn't sleep.
I see myself very similar to you, like how you're branching off into so much different things. So I was just trying to figure out how you're able to do it because I do.
Yeah.
I'm already started to do different stuff. Like right now, I'm going to release the Realistic CEO magazine.
Yeah.
Yeah. So like what you're doing is I can see how my business is going to be able to be similar to yours in a way of how we're branching off into so many different directions.
That's it, because it all makes sense because your core is still a realistic CEO. And I guess the biggest thing is like, how are you going to make money? Because in the end, you want to do great things, but also you want to live a good life.
Yeah.
So how do you plan on monetizing it?
Like I said, I'll say that my main monetization so far is paid public speaking. I get paid. That's probably been like the most so far, but right now trying to working on getting the sponsorships, all that stuff for the podcast.
Okay.
And then we just started the magazine, so that's going to be another revenue stream that just came in, plus the books here as well.
The books.
Yeah.
Good. Okay. So you're focused on that part.
Yeah.
Okay. I know, because like it's in the end, you want to do something that's good, but you also got to be like, okay, I need you could always make money off of a good cause.
Yeah.
So about getting the right people in your corner.
Yeah. So definitely for me, I really started this whole thing because I know that my story and everything that I'm going through is going to help so much other people get out of their shells. Because like when I speak, I always tell everybody I'm an introvert. Like at heart, like I'm the type of person I stay to myself. Public speaking, all that, that's really out of my comfort zone. So I'm always open with other people because I want them to know that I'm no different than the people in the audience that kind of gets nervous in class or whatever it is, and they get afraid of these big opportunities that they can become successful. So I just want to share my story to know that when you have these opportunities, go after it no matter what, even if you're too scared or you're afraid, because there's been opportunities that I was like so terrified to take, and I just did it anyways, and I felt good.
Those are the best.
So, yeah.
Those are literally the best. I'm not even joking. The best things have happened to me out of the worst circumstances ever. Think about it, like I would have never been here if I wasn't sick.
Yeah.
I would have never had that other division if the whole damn world didn't shut down. So it's like something good always comes from something bad, but like you never know when it's going to be until afterwards. And they always say hindsight's you know what.
Yeah.
And it really is. So just know. Are you religious at all?
Yeah.
Yeah. just know God literally has a plan for you. So, but then it's up to you to follow it through. That's where
Definitely,
free
yeah.
will goes in. But I feel like we're all destined for greatness. It's what we do with this opportunity that we have.
So can you tell us a little bit about how each division like developed?
Okay, so the wedding division is where it all started, and it was one of those things where it's okay. I was doing bat mitzvahs and sweet 16s, quinceañeras, things like that. And I loved all those things, but I just wanted to just focus in on just weddings. Because we're full service. That's where I shine the most. So we do DJ, lighting, photo booth, photography, videography, and photo booth rentals. We're a full service company. So imagine being a bride or a groom, I should say, for you, because grooms still reach out, but usually it's the brides. But yeah, so when that time comes for you, most likely she'll take care of that. Yeah, imagine needing to plan a wedding. You can only deal with one vendor and just know that you're good. Book a venue, hit us up, and you don't have to do anything. You're good to go. So that was like, okay, that made the most sense. And then obviously the AV part happened when I wanted to do more of the dance part of it. And then it started to go into like more of the corporate route. And then the multimedia came in when the pandemic happened. So it's like all these things just happened very organically. They weren't planned. And then the talent division happened when DJ Ragoza, the gentleman that I was speaking upon before, he is very well known in the industry. He is very well known. And he was getting like these crazy bookings, and he's not a good business person.
Yeah.
He's the good talent side, and he needed somebody to represent him. And again, not something I planned on doing or wanted to do, but I became his agent. So we started doing that with him, and then other people were interested in that. So now I'm like, okay, now we're a talent agency. So you don't know, it's just everything has been by accident. But like you said, it's about opportunity. I have these opportunities arise, so it's okay. Am I going to go for it? Am I going to put my time and energy into it and manifest it? Or am I going to wait for the next one? And these are particular ones that we just went all in. So it happened very organically. This is not was not really my intention, those other two divisions. But now that they're here, it makes sense. And it's been working out really well. And the people that we have, they are perfect for what people need.
So you talked about how 9 to 5 wasn't really something that you wanted to do.
Yeah.
But did you always have this business mindset?
I thought I was going to be a backup dancer for Jennifer Lopez. That was my goal. I wanted to be in that world. No, I never had any ambitions on ever doing anything else, really. You couldn't tell me anything. That was, once I had my mindset on something, that's it.
So how were you able to shift your mindset from, yeah, dancing is good, that's going to be my main career, I'm only going to be a dancer for the rest of my life, to, okay, I'm good at more than just dancing. I'm more than a dancer. I'm more than a DJ. So how were you able to develop that business mindset?
I've always had it. Some people are just born with those natural leadership abilities. I naturally just kind of, if I have an idea, I just do it, just make it happen. So it was very natural to me. There wasn't like a really developmental phase a part of it. I knew in the end I was going to have control of my destiny. It's just a matter of what it was going to be.
Yeah, I could definitely tell that you
Yeah.
had that mindset based on what you've been telling me, and how you were just like, okay, somebody has this problem, or I'm gonna find a way to. How can I help you and develop my business? So I can definitely see that.
Absolutely,
Yeah.
absolutely. And it makes you feel good. Like you love what you do, and you're also doing something good for the world. And I think the world needs more good things happening.
Yeah.
So it's all about the energy. It's all about the energy.
So, in my book,
Yeah.
we Realistic CEO, we talk about the LBW,
Yep.
the long, lonely, boring work. So, can you tell us about the LBW that you got to do inside your career?
Oh yeah, there's plenty of it when you're the president. It's all of the paperwork and all of the expenses and the scheduling and the contracting. It is not for the weak. I can tell you that right now. And it's somebody once told me to outsource or hire somebody for the things that you either don't like to do or you're not good at. That's what I started to do because it was really hard for me to give up the control. It's a control thing. I don't trust people with my numbers. Like I know that's your job, but I don't think you're going to be as paying much attention as much as I am. So it was really hard for me to give up a lot of control, but there comes to a point where you don't have a choice because you're so maxed out. And I went through the burnt out phase. And I wish, looking back at it now, I could have done things differently if I just let people help me. But I didn't realize that at the time, so I just took on a lot on my own. But yeah, it's all the paperwork on the back end that people don't get to see. They just see me fist pumping.
So you talked about how you burnt out because you were trying to do everything yourself.
Yep.
And you said you would have changed it. So what is something that you would have done differently knowing what you know now?
Yeah, I would have definitely hired other people or outsourced some of the work rather than taking it out on my own and just start to trust people a little bit more. Yeah, definitely.
So we talked about like the stress and all like the stuff that you don't really enjoy. So what is something that you enjoy about what you're doing?
I have a really fun job. I'm like super, super grateful. I think the most exciting thing is like meeting new people, going to new venues, and I'm traveling. I'll show you after we're done here, but in my office, I have a map of the United States, and all the states are black, but some of them are gold. Any state that's gold that you see is a state that we worked in. So our goal is to make it all gold, babe, called the VSP Takeover. So I want to see the world, spread my love for music, and make that map gold. And it's gonna start with just the United States, and then next step will be the world. We will make that happen.
So what has been your favorite state that you've traveled to so far?
Ooh, probably Miami is my favorite one that I DJ'd at for many reasons.
I got one more question for you. So what's one fun fact about yourself that nobody really knows?
A fun fact. I am really big into ancient civilizations. Like I'm a big history geek and a lot of people don't know. That's all I do is listen to podcasts about like with archaeologists and geologists and things to that nature. So that's literally, I'm a big history buff.
And so what's your favorite thing that you learned about ancient history?
Oh man, I can get real deep here, Michael. You better watch out. I know things that people shouldn't know. I think the most amazing thing, first of all, Graham Hancock is probably one of my favorite journalists, and he actually has a show now on Netflix called Ancient Apocalypse. So if you got some time, honestly, it'll blow your mind. But there was an ancient site that was a megalithic site in Turkey called Göbekli Tepe, and they ended up carbon dating it to 12,000 years ago. And at that time, they didn't think that the modern human had that. They just thought they were nomads, right? That they were just hunters and gatherers, that they didn't actually establish a civilization, never mind being able to create these insane megalithic structures with this gorgeous ornate design that they had that they carved into the rock. That kind of blew my mind. I'm like, wow, like 12,000 years ago. That's crazy. There's so much we don't know about ourselves. And I always feel like if we don't know about our past, how can we know where we're going? And so many people, everything's a theory. No one really knows. And what blows my mind is, are we meant to know? That's what are we meant to know? I don't know, but I want to know.
Yeah.
So that's my goal. Listen, when I really get rich, okay, you're going to see me in the desert or in the Amazon digging for some crazy stuff because I'm so interested in our past. There's not a lot that we know. And it's unbelievable what we've been able to do as a society in the past 100 years with the technology. And I can't even imagine where we're going to be in the next 100 years. But yeah, that's a little fun fact about me. I'm a big nerd.
All right, so I got something for you. How do you think the pyramids in Egypt were built?
Honestly, no one can physically. I'll just tell you something real quick, right? We're really big into frequencies. And if you could actually harness certain frequencies, like everything has a frequency, which is crazy to think about. There's so many moving particles within this. If you can harness the right frequency, you could actually levitate certain things. So I think they had some type of ancient technology, not maybe technology that we see something like this, but some type of technology that they had. And I think it was some type of frequency levitation device because they have not, even nowadays, they cannot recreate that the Great Pyramid, even with all the cranes and everything that we have now, which is so wild to think about. And they actually don't even know when the pyramids were actually even built. That's another fun fact. Don't believe your history books, people. Question everything. But yeah, who knows? But that is like, I'm not saying that is how they did it, but I think out of all the evidence that's been presented, that's the most intriguing to me and makes the most sense because there's so much we don't know even about them. And that's actually on my bucket list, Egypt next year. So I'm excited.
I just want to thank you again. I learned so much from you today, so I just want to thank you. And I want to thank everybody that's been supporting me. So ways you can support even more is by going on to the Realistic CEO website and ordering your copy of Realistic CEO. It means a lot to me, and it's a great and simple read for you. See you in the next one. Peace.